Hello and welcome back to this episode of the Engage 8 podcast. I am Josh with my co-host Mike. Today we are once again talking about the NBA playoffs and the two conference final series we have going on right now, both series which are 3-1 with the Pacers and the Thunder leading those series and looking like they're going to end up in the finals together. But before we start talking about those two series in depth, we will start with our studs and duds for the week. I will start. I have multiple studs, so I'll just do my first one here. It is Oneil Cruz, who officially has a new record for hardest hit ball in the Statcast era. 122.9 miles per hour off the bat. Broke his previous record of 122.4. He has the two hardest hit balls of the Statcast era. The next three are Giancarlo Stanton. I believe since 2022, when he entered the league, he has like 6 of 8 or something, or 6 of 7 of the hardest hit balls in baseball in that time period. He just hits the ball so hard, and he's great on the base path as well. He sometimes struggles in the strikeout department. He's good at taking walks. He has flaws in his game, but he's a really good power hitter. And I just want to see him fully be able to put it together and be on a team that can win games because I do think has the potential to be a MVP type candidate in this league. He just goes through those stretches where he plays really bad ball. I know he had like about a month stretch where he hit like 160 something, didn't have a home run for a few weeks, and it was just bad. And now he comes right back, hits 2 home runs, hits this 122.9 off the bat, and hopefully this is the start of another mashing streak for him.
For my stud of the week, it's a big weekend for racing with Memorial Day weekend. 3 big races all on Sunday. And surprisingly, the best one actually was the NASCAR Coke 600 race. It was very good. William Byron dominated most of the race, but Ross Chastain comes back at the end and wins the race. A very big race, one of the crown jewels of NASCAR. Very enjoyable. It was their first ever race on Amazon Prime. Many old heads not happy about that at all, but it was by far the best broadcast NASCAR has had in maybe the last 8 years, just all around, showing everything, big post race. But fun race to watch, and definitely the best race on Sunday. So I'm going to give my stud of the week to NASCAR for having a good broadcast for once and a very enjoyable race all around.
You could have made up those names for all I know.
I mean,
You
those
could
are,
have just
those
been
are
like
actually some of the bigger drivers.
Will Johnson and Jonas Bettelheim were dogs this weekend in the NASCAR tournament. Would have had
Yeah.
no clue if you were telling the truth or not.
Hey, William Byron drives the 24 car now. You probably don't know who drove it before.
Was it? Hold on, it was between two people.
Okay, go.
Earnhardt was 3 or 2.
Uh, yeah, the old Earnhardt was 3.
So it was 24. Fuck. What is that guy's name? Is it like Gooden or Goodman or some shit like
You're
that?
actually on the right track. I got a picture of him right there on the wall. Actually, Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon.
Gordon. See, I was there. I was right there. I knew it was something like that. Okay, yeah, I'm nice with it, Loki. Hold on. But
Yeah.
Earnhardt was 3,
Yes, Dale Earnhardt Sr.
not the one
And
who
Dale
died.
Earnhardt Jr. was back in the broadcast booth with Amazon, so that was
Or
cool.
no, Senior was the one who died.
Yes.
Okay, fucked
Rest
that
in
up.
peace.
But okay, we can move on here. My other stud of the week is the Carolina Hurricanes because they finally broke their streak of losing 15 straight Eastern Conference Finals games, which is unbelievable. I don't even know how that happens. How do you lose 15 straight games in the Eastern Conference Finals? According to their head coach, the last sweep wasn't a real sweep, even though they did lose all 4 games. But they're not going to get swept here against the Panthers. And this is also just an opportunity for me to talk about the Panthers, who are an absolute wagon. I know they've had some injuries, but Barkov's been fantastic. Kachuk's been fantastic. Bob's been fantastic in net. I'm supremely confident that the Panthers are going to win. And I guess we could kind of talk about NHL now because we haven't really talked much about it. We're going to get a rematch with the Panthers and the Oilers most likely in the finals, barring 3-1 comebacks or a 3-0 comeback in the Panthers and Hurricanes series. But yeah, I have a future on the Panthers. I've had them at plus 700 for almost 2 months now. I feel very confident in the Panthers, and I think they will be hoisting the cup for the second year in a row.
Yeah, I genuinely go back and forth on if that is the rematch, Panthers Edmonton. I don't know who I think would win it. I think the Panthers are a wagon. They've been dominant in the playoffs. We've seen them put up what was that game on Saturday? I think they put up 5 goals in the third period in like
Yeah,
9 minutes.
something
It
crazy
was
like that.
just absolutely ridiculous. They've been on fire. Edmonton's been very good in the playoffs as well. I don't think they've been as good as Florida, but if these two teams go and rematch in the Stanley Cup Finals, we saw it last season, a Game 7. It feels like Connor McDavid would just be destined to win it. But if the Panthers would find a way to win it again and deny Connor McDavid a second time, that would be very, very interesting TV. It'll be the most likely the Panthers' third straight Stanley Cup appearance. They've been dominant. If they win two, they're on their way to starting themselves a little bit of a dynasty, which would be crazy for a Florida Panthers hockey team. But they got to get to the Stanley Cup Finals first.
Yes, and we will talk more about hockey as when the Cup Finals roll around in about a week or so. But my dud of the week is really non-Power Five teams in general, but mostly Boise State and Arizona State for ruining the chances for their fellow non-power teams to get buys in the
They played
college
good
football
though.
playoff. What?
They played good in those games. Boise State and Arizona State.
Yeah, but that's Boise State getting a bye is the reason
Yeah, fair
that
enough.
this playoff seeding is changing. But yes, they're changing the college football playoff seeding. We are going to have still the five highest ranked conference champions will still make the tournament, but they're not guaranteed buys anymore. The top four are not guaranteed buys anymore, which is the correct move to make the top four teams get buys and not just conference champions. I would love if we could somehow make it where the first two rounds are home games. I think that would be fantastic. But with the bowl rights and whatnot, with the NCAA and these companies who host the major bowl games, are not going to let they're not going to let like the Fiesta Bowl fall to teams that don't make the college football playoff. That's just not going to happen. So unfortunately, we're not going to have that. But I like this reseeding. I think it's a significantly better model than last year, and I like that they're not afraid to adapt the model as we progress year out of this new college football playoff 12 team bracket, which eventually is probably going to end up becoming a 16 team bracket. But as we currently sit here with 12, I like that they're willing to adapt and they're not in a situation where they're just going to keep running it back over and over and over.
Yeah, and we see the SEC continue to cry about it 24/7. They haven't stopped crying since Alabama uh, got left out, which was completely the right move. I guess they're threatening to leave the NCAA now too, which is just
I saw that.
crazy, just embarrassing to be honest.
It's
But
not going to happen.
I mean, who are they going? They're just going to go play each other and have
That
no
would be a
TV
great
rights.
tournament. That would be a great tournament.
Uh,
SEC tournament in football.
as that being the only games of the season,
that would be that would be fun.
I couldn't disagree more to that take. But my dud of the week is another race from the three on Sunday, the Monaco Grand Prix. It's one of the most historic races, definitely maybe the most historical race in Formula One, but the race now in general, with the cars being so much bigger, it's not fun to watch as much. Qualifying's fine to watch. It's basically the race in general. Whoever wins qualifying is going to win the race, barring a huge disaster mistake. You can't pass anyone basically at all throughout the race unless it's by pit stops. This year they make it mandatory pit stops, which just made the race even more of a joke. You have cars willing intentionally going slow to let their teammates go into the pits and not lose any spots. I'm not a George Russell fan at all, but him finally just cutting the corner basically and saying, screw this. I don't want to sit behind this dude who's intentionally braking and going on slow laps just so his teammate can go to the pits. That was cool. But yeah, at some point they're gonna have to either change the track or just stop racing there because it's basically, or just make it like an all-star race because it's not. It's not a race anymore. It's just a show.
Yeah, and for a sport that's so popular, like it's honestly just ruining the sport.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's ruining the sport, bro. Like I can't watch
it's
it anymore.
it's a tough race to watch.
My 5 year old son Jimmy was watching the race and he was like, "Dad, why are they stopping to let their teammates go to the pit?" And I'm like, "I know, man. Like it's getting bad. It's not good for the sport
I mean, it
in
was the
general."
first time they ever made a mandatory pit stop at a race, and
Yeah,
it was a disaster.
it was a disgrace.
It was.
But we can move on to the NBA conference finals here with the we'll start with the what do you want to start with, the East or the West?
The West.
All right, we'll start with the West then. The Thunder lead the series 3-1, coming off of a win in Minnesota against the Timberwolves 128-126. And I want to talk about this game specifically and some of the discourse online. We uh we live in a world with NBA Twitter where you will get hyped up as the legend killer 1 second, and then the next game you're a fake demon. That is the case with Anthony Edwards here. After this performance in Game Four, where he had just 15 points, I believe, right? Yeah, or 16 points on 5 for 13 shooting, 1 for 7 from three in this game. And what I want to say about this game in general is I don't blame Ant at all. I don't even though he only
I
had 16
slightly
points.
do. I
I
slightly do.
my thing is his entire supporting cast was phenomenal in this game. What did they want him to do? Like McDaniels had 22, DiVincenzo 21, Shea's cousin 23, Naz Reid 11, Terrence Shannon Jr., who's played in back-to-back games now, had 9 in this game. They had 41 points in the fourth quarter. Their offense was not the issue. They put up 126 points in this game. And having 16 points was not their issue. Their issue was their defense, and they couldn't force the Thunder to miss any shots whatsoever. That was the reason they lost this game. It wasn't because Ant didn't show up offensively. It wasn't because he wasn't the closer that they needed him to be. It was simply because of their defense. And give it to the Thunder. I mean, Jalen Williams, 34 points in this game was just absolutely absurd. Chet is getting better each and every game. He had 21, 7, and 3 blocks in this game. And then, of course, Shea gets 40 on 30 shots and did shoot 14 free throws in this game, which I think the next most on his team shot 2 free throws. And the next most in the game shot 7 free throws. He shot 14 in this game. We don't have to do the Shea foul baiting thing again. We did do that last week. But yeah, regardless, I think the discourse around Ant is kind of lame. I think his team is not nowhere near as good as the Thunder, as a fully put together team, and it was definitely a defensive issue and not an offensive issue. And I don't even want to say they played bad defense. It was just the Thunder just made tough shots this entire game, and so did the Timberwolves for that matter. But the Thunder, they're a team that, as good as they are defensively, they do go through lulls offensively. They do have times where you're worried if they're going to be able to get a bucket on an offensive possession, but in this game, they were able to make tough shots. And this is a Thunder team where if they make tough shots, they're impossible to beat.
Yeah, that's true. And just in regards to the Ant thing, I do agree with this is a game where a lot of his teammates played very well. He does have a bad scoring game. The one issue I kind of have is I'd still consider him the legend killer because he's fine with being a legend. He's beat LeBron. He's beaten a lot of these guys, but he goes up against the peers that are the same age as him and maybe younger than we saw it last year with Luca and now this year with Shea. He just doesn't show up as much. And part of the reason is the media will turn on you as quickly as they hype you up. They did hype him up and say he defeated Steph Curry in the last round when Curry played, 13
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah,
So I just blame the media for a decent amount of it. But in this series, we have seen that Oklahoma City is just a better team. And in this is a game where you let Jalen Williams get 34 points on very good efficiency. Chet gets 21, and then Shea obviously gets 40 points. So it's going to be very hard to beat the Thunder if you let that happen. Shea, very good in the mid range. He's been there, good in that all season. That's one of the good things about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's games. He's kind of bringing back the mid range a little bit, which is good to see as someone who loves a good mid range jump shot. And yeah, this Thunder team is just better at this point. I think they're going to win this series in probably 5 games, maybe 6. It would take a lot for the Timberwolves to really get going at this point. And like you said, their bench had a great game. DiVincenzo, 21 points on great shooting. Shea's cousin, 23 points on great shooting. Did take an elbow to the neck by his cousin, which was a little
yeah.
mean by Shea.
Did you know they were
But
cousins?
no, I didn't find that out until Doris Burke told me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Did you know
but
Rudy Gobert was French?
I did. I
Okay,
did know
cool.
that one.
Then
And
Hartenstein's
Bonjour
proven.
Hartenstein. The streets are saying that Doris Burke has a crush on Rudy Gobert.
I've seen that. I don't know.
It's kind of shocking.
Yeah,
Crazy player to love is Rudy Gobert.
yeah. She has been a Gobert fan for a minute, I think,
Yeah, I feel like she has,
which
and that's been
is just
interesting.
funny. I feel like I can hear her saying Gobert just in
Yeah,
my
I
head
can,
if I think
and,
about
and
it.
she like starts speaking in a French accent as well.
Yeah, Bonjour Hartenstein.
Hartenstein had a dominant game in Game 4 with 2 points.
Yeah, yeah. 4 or 2 rebounds, 1 shot. He only played 16 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
this
and got
wasn't his
dunked
game.
on, unfortunately.
Yes, yes. And got bonjour, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I mean, that's another thing for this series. Anthony Edwards, he's got to go up against the gauntlet of defenders that Oklahoma City has.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I
make it
mean,
tough. With
everybody's got to go against that, though.
yeah, but I'm just saying it's gonna make it tough.
Yeah. And I mean, his supporting cast did. This is the game the Timberwolves had to win.
They had to
You
exactly.
had to win this game. But I guess you can also say the same thing for the Thunder. You can't lose a game where Jalen Williams gives you
Mm.
34.
They shot
Oh,
44% from three though. That's very good. 51% from the field. They shot better from the field than the Thunder.
and I want to give credit to PMT for this take. This is the first time I heard this take. They said the other day that we could end up looking at this Thunder team 5, 10 years from now and say that this is the worst Thunder team to win a title if they do win a title this year. Because, I mean, with all the draft picks they have, and they're going to have opportunities to trade for possibly another star at some point here. We might look at the Thunder might go win a title 5, 6 years from now with Shea and another superstar, and Chet ends up being a great player. And you're like, how did this team win a title with Jalen Williams as their second best scorer? But
Yeah.
they have a very good
They're
chance to do
also
that.
they're gonna lose a decent amount of these guys when it comes time.
Right,
I
right.
mean, they can't pay all of them.
Yeah, they can't pay all of them, and especially the role players that I would say that for. But also, I mean, when you have like, don't they still have like 15 first round picks or something?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This will be the 2025 draft. They got two firsts this year,
Yep.
15, 24. Next year they have three firsts. Two of them are protected pretty highly. Then the next year they got two more firsts. Yeah,
I mean, you're
they got a lot
gonna,
of first round picks.
and Presti's been so good at drafting that you're assuming that they're
They
gonna
got
go.
last year's first round pick also. Will he hasn't been able to play? What's his name?
What are you
It's a
talking about?
Nikola.
Topich?
Nikola, is that it? Nikola Topic? Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Nikola Topic. Yeah. He was the
He'll
pick from
come
Florida.
next year.
Yeah, you're gonna have him coming in, and you assume with Presti, like they're going to hit on a few of these. A few of these
Hmm.
guys are going to be significant players on the Thunder eventually, and one of them with all these first round picks will probably end up being an all star. It's just the
Yeah.
odds are in their favor for that. So I
His job now is just going to be to make sure he gives out these contracts correctly.
right, which I mean they there's no reason for them at this point to not extend Jalen Williams and Chet,
Hmm.
especially
Yeah.
Chet. But there's no reason for them to not sign Jalen Williams unless the finals rolls around and he has
And he
another
falls apart.
performance like
Yeah.
he did last year in the playoff series they lost. That's the only reason maybe that wouldn't happen. But a 34-point game on 24 shots, more
We're
efficient
setting
than
up
Chet.
the Paul George finals here.
We are, and with that being said, we'll move on here then to the Pacers and the Knicks. As the Pacers win Game 4 last night, go win 130 to 121 over the New York Knicks. Pacers are Pacers are really, really, really good, man, and they're fun to watch. And Halliburton goes and puts up a 30-point triple double with zero turnovers, 12 rebounds, 15 assists, 32 points for him, plus 16 overall. He has been so good. His dad is back in Indy now. He's in a suite. He's no longer allowed courtside, which is bullshit to me. I'm happy they let him
Mhm.
back, but get that man on courtside. He's not going to do it again,
No, I would
right?
doubt he does it again.
I mean,
But
if he does it again, it's the funniest thing that's ever happened. So it's,
to be fair, now it would be to go to the finals. So if they win their next
yeah,
home game,
they need they need to get him back on the wood. They need him back on the wood, bro. But yeah, no, this Pacers team is phenomenal. They have like legitimately 9 guys who can score significant points. TJ McConnell, Ben Mather, and Ben Shepherd off the bench, and Obi Toppin all off the bench have been extremely good for this team. Nemhard was pretty bad in this game. They still were able to survive it. He only played what 19 minutes or 29 minutes in this game, but shot 1 for 9 from the field. Only had a few points. Neesmith was great, of course, 16. Siakam 30. And yeah, I mean, when you have a Neesmith playing as good as he is, and he is like your third best scorer at best, they're in a really, really good spot. The Knicks, on the other hand, Cat is up and down. Sometimes we'll have a phenomenal game, sometimes it won't be great. And then a game like last night where he wasn't horrible, but he also didn't do enough to put his team over the top. Brunson shot his 12 free throws, and in general, the Knicks shot a fucking shit ton of free throws. I think the Pacers might have shot a ton of free throws as well. Pacers shot 32, or sorry, yeah, 32 free throws in this game. The Knicks shot 39 free throws in this game. So a shit ton of free throws throughout. Brunson, like I said, with 12. Cat and OG both had 9. McHale had 17 on 15 shots. He has to be more efficient offensively. He was minus 13 in this game. Mitchell Robinson started. They're now starting Mitchell Robinson because they don't want him to be in a situation where you can't hack Mitchell Robinson in the first quarter. So at this
No,
point, you play him in the first quarter, and you can at least avoid that for some of his minutes. But Josh Hart also extremely efficient for this team. 3 for 5, 12 points. He also had 11 rebounds and an assist in this game. And we know what he does defensively. The 5 turnovers are really what killed, and the 6 fouls is what killed him in this game. But I am as much as I love the Pacers and I want them to win the title, and I think they're going to the finals, I'm not convinced the series is over yet. I think there's a
interesting.
chance for the Knicks. You're down 3-1. You still have 2 home games. You look at their losses. I mean, it's a blown lead in game one. Game two, they could have had. And then this game three was probably the hardest one for them to win, but they weren't completely out of it. They lose by single digits in this game. So I don't want to completely count out the Knicks yet, especially with a guy like Brunson, who you can assume is going to have a 40 or 50 point game at some point in the rest of the series. So I think the Knicks are going to take game five at home. I do. I think they're going to win game five in the Garden. And then you go to game six, and I, of course, I'm going to lean Pacers in that game at home. But the Pacers have lost at home in this series, and they've lost at home in the playoffs before. So it's not impossible to believe that the Knicks can win this game on the road. And in the event that the Knicks win that game on the road, then you're looking at a game seven, and anything can happen at that point. So I don't think the Knicks are completely out of this series yet. I still do lean Pacers, obviously, and I still think it's going to be Pacers Thunder, but the Knicks are not dead yet, in my opinion. I think they're more alive than the Timberwolves.
I believe they're more alive than the Timberwolves. I'd agree with that. It's tough though. The thing about the Pacers is I believe I was trying to look it up, but I believe they're 4-0 in closeout games in the last 2 years. And this next game in New York would be a closeout game, so you want to get that done. We haven't seen how they react to losing to a closeout game. If they would stumble a little bit, maybe lose game six. And we saw this series last year go to 7 games. Pacers ended up winning that game seven. These two historically have gone to game sevens. They did it back to back in the 90s, and Knicks took the first one, Pacers took the second one. So if the Knicks can get hot, I can see it happening. But I just like this Pacers team. They can have players have bad games, and they still find ways to win. Andrew Nemhard really in the last 2 games hasn't been good at all. 9 points, like you said, in game three. Only six, or was it 3 points? Is that what you said? Yeah, 3 points in game
Yep.
four. He's struggled in this series a little bit, but Aaron Nesmith has stepped up. Pascal Siakam has been incredible so far this series. He's been great. 30 points last night. He was plus 9, 11 for 21 shooting. He's been shooting very good from three in this series, I believe. He was 3 for 4 last night. Obi Toppin's been solid. Benedict Mathurin had a good game yesterday. He had 20 points. But for the Knicks, like you said, they started Mitchell Robinson instead, and he just did not have it early in that game. He only played 19 minutes. He was minus 20 on the floor. He's been solid in the series, but this game was not one of his best. Miles McBride was kind of a little bit of a hero in game three. He got the Knicks offense kind of going off the bench. He had only 9 points, but shot decent. In this game, he didn't have it either. He was minus 14. So if the Knicks are going to get going, they're probably going to need a little bit of bench contribution from the bench. We haven't seen that in a lot of these games, but the starting lineup for the Knicks, it usually is going to be good, and it was. And honestly, out of all of these games so far, all games 1 through 4, the one game I would not have expected the Knicks to win would have been game three when Jalen Brunson only plays 31 minutes, was in foul trouble the entire game. But they found a way to win that game, and maybe maybe they're not as good as maybe Jalen Brunson isn't contributing as much as we thought. Who knows?
I do want to mention because this series is on TNT. I don't think we've talked about it yet, but Inside the NBA will be back on NBC next year. So this is not the last series of Inside the NBA. Thank God, because
It's the last inside the NBA on TNT.
yes, it's the last Inside the NBA on TNT, but it's still the same crew on NBC. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we'll see some Jordan popping in there.
I think it's ESPN.
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure it's ESPN, not NBC.
For what?
That's where they're going.
They're going to ESPN?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I believe they're going to ESPN.
Really?
Hmm. If I'm
So is that the death of the Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, Malik
We can
Andrews.
only hope.
Yeah, I
We can
think
only.
that's the end.
I'm pretty sure the Marcus or the Morris twins were there too for a little bit.
The Morris twins.
Yeah, it's going to ESPN,
Wow. Well, that's the first I'm hearing of that.
and that's good because I trust NBC to make a decent show. You can't with ESPN. So
Yeah, yeah, so that is big. That's huge. I wonder if that means they're going to change the announcing crew.
hopefully they don't censor them too much. That would be the big fear.
So I mean, I guess ESPN's probably saving some money getting out of that UFC deal. They're able to pay for inside the NBA. That's probably what it is.
Oh, that could be, yeah.
I'd assume because they had a situation where they had a ton of layoffs not too long ago. So for them to take on a show like this, I would assume that means their UFC
And
contract is up.
you just know we're gonna get a Pat McAfee inside the NBA link up at
Oh
some point in
yeah,
the
got
future.
to. We need it.
And people are gonna hate it. Some people are gonna love it.
Did you see the Pat McAfee at the Pacers game last night?
Yeah.
That was
Did you see who was
fantastic.
pissed off about it?
He was?
No, did you see who was pissed off about
No.
it? Your boy Ben Stiller.
He was mad?
Yeah.
Why?
He was saying Knicks fans would never do something this disgraceful, basically.
Oh my God. Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben.
I want to get the exact quote now that I've said it. He said, his Twitter is very funny to go look at, by the way. It's all just "Let's go Knicks."
Yes.
Um,
Hey, I mean, you got to separate the art from the artist. Um, Kanye made the college dropout. Ben Stiller made Severance. Don't have to agree with everything they do outside of that.
I can't find it now, but
He said it's a disgrace. That's so whack. Did he say? Are you sure he said it on Twitter?
I don't know if he said it was a disgrace, but he definitely said,
And Knicks fans would definitely do something like that. So I don't
yeah,
know
no,
what
that's the
he's
thing. I mean, they literally attacked a fan.
Yeah, they attacked Windy. They attacked
Yeah, they attacked
Windy.
Windy too. Yeah,
But you can't keep your fucking paws off Windy. I I would be out on the front lines fighting for him. Come on now. Oh, don't touch Windy. And that goes for LeBron too. And I'm a LeBron guy. Come on. Let's
yeah.
go
He was
easy
he
on
was he was just kind of going off on people, I guess, all around. It looks like he just seems salty now that they lost.
I mean, hey, at least him and Spike Lee finally fucking showed up to an away game.
Yeah,
Timmy's been out there on the front lines by himself. Big
and
Timmy.
Timmy was with him too. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was like, "Yo, why the fuck didn't you show up to Game 3?" But like,
you know,
honestly, at that point, they won Game 3. They shouldn't have shown up for Game 4.
exactly.
So
That was kind
you
of a
don't want to
mistake.
show up when they're down 2-0, and then once they win one, now you're back. I don't know. It's interesting. That's all I'll say. But that's about all.
I thought it was a good promo by Pat McAfee too.
Me too. I thought it was fantastic. I liked it a lot.
And I don't think he said anything. He didn't say anything crazy. He just said send them back with their ears ringing.
Yeah, and he called them sons of bitches, but
Yeah, hey.
yeah, it happens. It's one of those things. You got to toughen up a little bit, Ben. Come on. Now.
Yeah. You're a
But
comedian, buddy.
yeah, that's all I got for this.
That's all I got. I can't find it now.
All right. So that'll about do it for this episode of the Engage 8 podcast. We said it last week, but next week we will have an NBA Finals preview because the series will be over by then. We'll also be talking about the NHL Stanley Cup Finals as well and any news that hits the sports world between now and then. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you guys made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Hit all the links in the description for TikTok, Spotify, social media, and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
okay. I got exactly what he said here, real quick.
Go ahead.
He said, appreciate that. Just would never happen in New York.
Just a lie. Just a lie. All right. And with that from Ben Stiller, we'll see everybody in the next one.